Okay, for those of you who have impact drivers for driving screws and drilling holes, and those of you who have regular drill drivers, I'm going to show you the difference between the two. Now, I've got these are my Makita ultra compact ones that I love these things. I wanted to do a demonstration as to the difference between using these day in and day out, especially in a confined space, like a shop, not outdoors, but a shop environment. And I wanted to demonstrate them using a typical bit that I use, which is a countersinking bit. So I've equipped this with a depth stop so that it's going to stop me as I get to a certain depth, which is a typical depth for a normal screw. And I'm going to drill into poplar. So this is a obviously 1 3/4 inch or so wide piece of poplar, and I'm going to go right down, and I'm going to go as fast as I can, and I'm going to drive the bit down until it stops, and then I'm going to release it. Now I'm also going to, at the same time, I'm going to measure the noise because the noise is kind of one of those things that I don't think people realize when they're maybe purchasing these, but the noise is of considerable importance when you're talking about power tools. So without having to wear hearing protection when using tools, I think that's a benefit for sure. So if you don't have to wear it, I would rather not. But in any case, it also can be a nuisance if you have a loud tool, even if you have hearing protection on. Maybe you've got neighbors or people in your shop environment or the home, whatever it is. You don't want to be bugging them. Maybe you're working late at night, maybe, who knows what. But I can tell you, when you hear loud tools going on, it can be annoying, especially if you're not the one, even if you're not the one doing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually measure the decibels, and I'm going to use this decibel meter. This is just a simple app. I got this, from my iPhone. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it on, and it's going to start recording all the sounds. It's going to record a high and an average, and it's going to do that for both. And it's going to give me a chart, essentially, showing me, what's what. But what I want to do is just measure the difference in sound. Now, I'm actually going to do this without any drill bit. I'm just going to use the driver bit on this, and I'm going to measure the sound, and I'm going to do the same thing with the impact. And I'm going to put it right as close as I can to the actual phone, so I can get the reading bumped up right next to it, right? So I'm going to be literally on top of this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first. So let me go ahead and do this, and I'm going to hit play, and that's going to start reading it. I'm going to take it off the phone just a little bit so it doesn't vibrate on the phone. So it's just separated by about, 1/4 inch or so. So 93, when I clicked it off, it went to 93.2. That little click added a little something. Now, let me check this one. 90.2. 90 point. We'll call it 91. I'm going to take my countersink set, and I'm going to drill a series of holes, and we might as well just do 5 holes. So I'm going to go ahead and do 5 holes, and we will record the sound. Now I'm going to do it right from here, and I'm going to go as fast as I can and as deep as when I get to this, I'll stop. All right, ready? All right, that was 5. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to change it to the impact, and let's see what that sounds like. Okay, now I'm going to tell you right now, it took a lot more effort to drill those holes, but also I'm going to show you that the the results went off the chart there. Max at 108.9, and let me just see that one again. Okay, that went to 113. Okay, now here's the difference. Also, the hole, drilling a hole is way different than drilling a screw or driving a screw. When you drive screws, the impact is going to help you a little bit, especially if they're bigger bolts and you're driving, you know. When you're driving this kind of a screw, like an 1.25" or a 2-inch screw, you're not going to, you know, this isn't going to help you in the sense that you're not needing that extra, you know, pounding action. But what you are getting is a massively louder noise than when you drive this. I mean, the difference is incredible. You'll notice there's a few things you'll notice also is the hole is actually cleaner because it doesn't have the vibration. There's no vibration in the actual counter as I'm working, but there was when I used the impact. For instance, this was up there and I used the impact and this thing vibrated down after only, I think, 2 holes. So the amount of vibration that you're getting is incredible. The noise, the vibration, the hole, not so good. So it's just not a good choice for, you know, so far doing anything. Now let me do it just with drilling holes. So I'm going to take this one and I'm just going to drill a few holes and let's see what it sounds like, or see what it does. Okay, now let me change this to the impact. Let's see what that sounds like and feels like. Oh my God. And you know what? It's hard to pull out actually, because when it's going in and it's got that impact motion, it's actually hard to pull out. Oh man, that's real hard. God, it's just obnoxiously loud. And it's just not pleasant. So you can imagine working in a shop and hearing that all day. I think I would go nuts. Okay, this was just so quiet. It almost doesn't even feel like it's working as hard. I hope that I just displayed something interesting. One is the major amount of noise difference, and the other is the ease at which you drill holes. Drilling holes with an impact is way different than drilling holes with a drill driver. So the only thing left to do would be to test it on drilling or driving screws. So we might as well take these countersunk pre-drilled holes, and I'm going to go ahead and drive some screws. All right, I'm just going to drive a screw, see how it goes. Oh my God, okay, that was it. Measure this. 107.6. Let's measure this. Now I always do it on low speed, but faster, you want to go, you could do on faster speed, put it on speed 2. I'm going to do it on low speed. So that looked like it was 70 something. I'm going to do one more and look at the number. Okay, 79 it topped out at. And I'm going to put it on speed 2 just to see the difference in the speed. Okay, so you saw that obviously is real fast. 75. And I'm going to go on this guy again. I'm going to move the piece so I'm a little further away. And go down. Okay. 108, whatever, that last little bit, I mean, that thing got loud right at the end. Okay, so my God, what a difference in the noise. Now, what does this tell me? This tells me that two things. One is you can get the same results from a drill driver as in, you know, driving screws, no problem. You're not going to need an impact for much stuff when you're doing cabinet making. I know I see people using impacts for doing pocket holes. I mean, are you serious? Pocket hole joinery and you're using an impact driver? I don't understand that. So if you value your hearing and or your hand, because the more vibration you have on a tool, the more you're gonna, at some point, you're gonna develop, you know, things like carpal tunnel. Hands don't like vibration, so the more you can get away from that, the better. But also, go with a if you're drilling holes, if you're countersinking. So pretty much every operation for cabinet maker or woodworker is drilling holes. Less of the operations would require big lag bolts. And again, if you're using a big lag bolt, you're probably going to be wanting to use a different style of screw gun, right? Unless you have a really big pre-drilled hole. But if you're going into like framing lumber, I mean, obviously you're going to need a bigger drill. But you know, I've had success without using a impact, and it's, you know, obviously we're not dealing with speed, so speed might be a slight advantage to the impact. I mean, clearly that's the idea behind it. But in a cabinet shop, in a woodworking shop, you know, I get asked, why don't I ever use an impact? You know, I've had people that come to my shop to work and they bring their impact guns and I tell them to leave them in their trucks because I don't want to hear that. And personally, I think they strip out holes. So if you're driving a screw in a, let's say, a pocket hole, and you're using an impact gun, chances are you're going to strip it out because it's just too much. Put this on and put a clutch on it so you don't strip out those holes. Definitely way better, quieter. Anyways, so hopefully this helped. If anybody had a question about, you know, what would be better, an impact or a drill driver for cabinet making, that sort of thing, I would encourage you to look at just going with a drill driver, especially if you can only get one. I mean, I wouldn't, you know, I definitely wouldn't get this if you could only get one. This is going to be much better and better on your ears and your hands. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate your feedback and your support. Thanks so much. Bye.